This video accompanies the notes from business communication class on Chapter 15, the job search, resumes, and cover letters in the digital age. It's no surprise to really anyone that there are certain trends or changes or features of the current job market that are different from what they were, certainly 5 or 10 years ago. The increase in use of mobile technologies, the importance of networking. The old saying everyone's familiar with, it's not what you know, but who you know. But the truth is, it's both. If you are working for a company where it's significantly more important who you know than what you know, we call that a family business. And if you live or work in an economy where it's significantly more important who you know than what you know, that's a third world economy. In other words, ultimately, they're going to want you to know something and be able to contribute to creating value in the business. And so who you know may get you the interview. It may not necessarily get you the job. If it does get you the job, it won't keep the job for you. You're going to have to perform. You're going to have to measure up. So don't depend on being able to glad hand and meet people and sell yourself. Ultimately, you need to have something to sell and something that allows you to contribute to the enterprise. Communication and interpersonal skills are in high demand, more important really than ever in a digital age. Social media presence is a must. It's all digital in the sense that now even resumes are assumed to be, you need to have those in digital form, and to be able to tailor your resume to a particular job or internship opportunity rather than to have, like in the old days, just a single resume that you passed out and broadcast to everyone. The internet has certainly drastically changed the job search. There are job boards, for instance, if you're looking in a particular geographical area. In the state of Alabama, there's a job board for that. Jobs, if you want to go to Nashville, Tennessee, there's a job board there. So look around for those. If you know a geographical area where you want to go, do a Google search and see what's available there so you can research jobs that might be available in that area or in a particular field. Use of search engines, of course, like Google or Firefox are very helpful. The importance or use of social networks like Instagram, Facebook, and so on, and of course LinkedIn, which we talk about a bit more later on in the class. Online resumes and interviewing. I remember a student a few years ago, he had an interview with a company in New York. I think it was Hugo Boss, and it was all conducted by video. That is online. I think it was FaceTime or something like that. And so you need to be ready for that and know how to present yourself, maybe become more comfortable speaking in front of a camera. Videotape yourself with your iPad. It's so easy now. There's really very little excuse for you to make some of the old mistakes of, not making eye contact or not having your tie straight or sitting up straight, those sorts of things. Practice makes permanent, by the way. The old saying is practice makes perfect. It doesn't. Practice makes permanent. If you practice things poorly, you're going to ingrain bad habits and behaviors. So focus on practicing, doing it right and practicing it right to ingrain good habits and good practices. Personal networking and referrals, despite the prevalence of all these opportunities online, still remain the primary route to hiring. Of course, every campus, including Faulkner's, has a career center. You need to know Ms. Ottinger. You need to be able to know what services they offer and take advantage of those the services that they provide. Internships are becoming critical. First of all, in allowing you to figure out what you're really interested in. You may think you want to work in public accounting. You may think that you want to be in sales. An internship can show you what that's really like in a way that no classroom experience can. And you may find out you really enjoy that, and you build up some good experience for that will help you in interviewing and getting the job of your choice. But it also may show you that that's just not really a good fit for you. There are other opportunities for you to explore careers. We did an exercise in class online, a career choice problem or exercise. Interview people in the field. Volunteer with a nonprofit if in fact you've got some interest in a particular area that lends itself to that. Read through classified ads. Join professional organizations in accounting, for instance, or in entrepreneurship, or in other areas of business. Meet people, network, find out what's involved, what the opportunities are in a particular career field, and you're going to be better off both in interviewing for the job and also in succeeding in that position later on. In searching the open job market, of course, there are some big board job sites like Indeed and Career Builder, Monster.com. Of course, company websites. If there's a company you really would like to work for, let's say you wanted to work for Amazon, go on their website. Look for employment opportunities there. There's certain niche sites for particular types of jobs. Of course, LinkedIn, and later this semester, the Career Center will offer a LinkedIn session or seminar where you can have a nice photo made, and they can explain how to open up a LinkedIn account, and also give you some forewarning about some of the do's and don'ts for selling yourself and putting yourself out there on LinkedIn. Job fairs. We have job fairs here at Faulkner, and even if there's not an employer at a job fair that you're particularly excited about, you could be wrong. You may find out that there's a company there you didn't know about, or you didn't think about a career in a particular area that may actually represent a good opportunity. Either way, getting to meet people and to work on your networking skills and how to learning how to introduce yourself better, those are good experiences. So even if a particular company isn't that appealing to you, the opportunity to meet other people and to learn more about opportunities should be something of interest to you. The 3-step plan to building your personal network starts with developing a contact list. Especially if you, let's say, are from someplace far away from Montgomery, Alabama, or Central Alabama, or the Southeast even, if you want to go back home to St. Louis, Missouri, or to Dallas, Texas, then you need to realize that you're going to have to do a bit more legwork. You're going to have to work a bit harder when you go home on spring break, when you go home for summer or Christmas or whatever it might be. You need to develop a contact list. Think about some of your former colleagues, some of your high school buddies, for instance, people that hopefully you still stay in touch with, friends from church, friends of your parents, professionals that you may work with, your dentist, your doctor. There are all kinds of opportunities. If you're an athlete, you probably have some people that you still stay in touch with from maybe a former team that you were a part of or a league that you participated in. Ask about Faulkner alumni in the area. Go to the registrar's office. Go to see Ms. Ottinger in the Career Center, and see if you can identify some Faulkner alumni in the area where you want to locate. The second step is actually to contact those people. Make contacts in person, but also online, for instance, through email. Introduce yourself. Just explain what you want. Get to the point. In this case, you're developing contacts and you want to find people who might be able to help you out. So it's appropriate to be fairly direct here. Make sure they know what the connection is, for instance, through church or through a shared interest that you might have, or through Faulkner, or whatever. And then thirdly, follow up on your referrals. Especially if somebody recommended that you contact this person. Make sure they, right off the bat, that you tell them that this common friend or acquaintance has suggested the contact. That way you kind of use that person's influence, that is this contact's influence on the person that you're actually trying to get the help from. And so it's like you've already got some built up rapport or connection with that person. We're now going to talk about resumes a bit. You've had an assignment where you have to turn in a resume, and we're going to be working on those some over the next couple of weeks, so that hopefully you've got a number of sets of eyes that look at your resume and are able to make some suggestions about that. There are different styles of resumes, but by far the most common is the chronological style. Focuses on experience. It's a favorite of recruiters because that's really what they see most often. In other words, the chronological style is generally going to highlight your education first, but in terms of your job experience, relevant experiences are going to be listed in reverse chronological order. That is, starting with the most recent work and going to the jobs, going through to the jobs that are most distant, that is, earliest in your career. This is best for people with experience, steady career growth. Despite its negatives, this style is most popular with new grads. Now, the negatives of this might be that you might have holes in the chronology, and if you do have holes in it, you either have to fill that in with something that may not be as, let's say, a bad job experience or a time when you were simply out of the workforce, and so it may draw attention to some of those holes chronologically in your work record. The functional style actually has a lot to recommend it, but it's a much less commonly used. It focuses on skills rather than past employment. It's best for people with little experience, with frequent job changes, different career areas, or employment gaps, because it's not going to highlight those holes, for instance, in the chronology. However, the style is hard to write, and recruiters may be suspicious. In other words, because they're used to seeing a chronological resume style, they see something that's a bit different or odd. It's like, why, what's with this person? Why are they doing, something that's different? How long should your resume be? Well, the short answer is long enough to present your skills and qualifications. If you're a recent grad or you have only held 1 or 2 jobs, it should generally be limited to 1 page. So, if you're a student or you're fairly new, let's say you sat out for a while, or you're getting back into the job market, that you don't have recent experience, it should generally be limited to 1 page. Especially if you are a recent university graduate, you should be able to get relevant information onto 1 page. There's not always a one-size-fits-all, so all of these things, of course, are general rules that a particular person might need to violate to best present themselves. Here are the basic categories on the resume. First of all, the main heading. And in this one, this is where you're including your name, your address, or contact information, including phone and email. Keep it professional and uncluttered. Your name on a line by itself. This should not be your initials in humongous letters or anything unusual here. You want the resume to speak to your professionalism and your qualifications. Very often on a resume like this, if you do something really off the wall, it's not going to get the positive attention you might think your creativity deserves. So be a bit more reserved, and once you get the interview, then you may be able to show your creativity and your enthusiasm in other ways. Your career objective. This is one of those things that I'd say it's probably becoming less common for somebody to have a statement of purpose or career objective, but it may well be that that's a place where you can include keywords so that it's easier for you, for instance, to put things in there that in a digital type of screening or filtration might be able to pick up some of those keywords so that your resume gets noted in ways that it otherwise might not. Notice here, don't just go with something generic as it shows here. A poor objective is just generic: to obtain an entry-level position with a strong company where I can utilize my skills to their fullest in advancing my career. First of all, that sounds very, very inwardly focused, very selfish. You want this position because it's going to help you. You really need to think in terms of how you are going to be able to help them. And so the improved version says, to obtain a junior accountant position where my recent accounting and computer training can help an organization achieve its goals. You're touting your own skills and abilities, but you want a place where you can develop and use those in the interest of the organization that you're serving. It's always important to take what we call the U view, to put things in perspective and realize it's ultimately they're hiring you for what you can do for them, not for what they can do for you.